Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Do you ever think about all the many words that pour out of your mouth on a daily basis? Sometimes we say that our thoughts create our reality, but so do our words. In this episode, I want to explore the connection between what you speak into the world and what you actually create, and how, when you put an emphasis on deliberate, sacred sound vibrations, you begin creating at a higher level. Namaste and welcome to the Spiritual Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Savitri Amba, director of the American Reiki Academy, Los Angeles' oldest Reiki school, and the Vedic Healing Center. I'm a Reiki master, Vedic healing master, clairaudient channel, and healer who has practiced and taught spiritual self-development and healing for more than 35 years, led pilgrimages to India, and studied with blessed Indian gurus. In this show, we cover topics related to metaphysics, Reiki, Vedic healing, manifestation, spiritual growth, and feng shui based upon my studies and work in these disciplines. The aim of this show is to help you awaken, develop, and tap into your spiritual power so that you may live well, manifest your dreams, and ultimately fulfill your unique divine destiny, all by working from the inside out. It begins with energy. Welcome to today's episode, which is all about language, sound, sacred sound, mantra, and how these utterances relate to creation, to manifestation. I thought of this phrase and jotted it down, which may be very familiar to you. It's from the Bible. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Now, originally, this was written in the Greek language, and the word was logos. And logos has a really fascinating translation. It can mean word, speech, reason, divine intelligence, creative principle, but primarily what I've discovered is it meant the underlying order, the natural order of the universe. And I started thinking about the Vedic tradition that says creation begins with sacred sound, sabda. The primordial vibration Om is understood as the original sound vibration from which creation unfolds. And what this means is mantras are not just meaningful words. They're actually considered to be little sparks, I would say, of consciousness and creative power. So I started thinking about the parallels amongst this phrase and the Vedic understanding about sound, how the ultimate reality is sound and creation through sacred vibration. And what I wrote down was, aside from this one phrase, I wrote a note here to myself, and it says, thoughts create things, but so do words. And in one of the previous episodes, I talked about how in modern day manifestation, we talk about how your thoughts create your reality. And therefore, we start to become more vigilant with our thoughts because we feel that they are shaping, they're one element of what shapes our reality. But so do the sound vibrations that come from us. And one of the sound vibrations that comes from us is just language. It's all the words that tumble out of us every day. So I think in that episode also I talked about how chanting a mantra, which is also sound, gives you mastery over your speech. So it helps you be the conveyor of more beautiful language, of more intentional language, of more deliberate words. And also what's interesting is that when you chant, and for those of you who know me, you will know that chanting forms a very, very integral and major component of my dedicated spiritual practice, my sadhana, and what I teach, and what I've learned in India through Vedic healing and working with other gurus on the path. For those of you who know this about me, you will know that chanting, and if you've taken any of the classes or attended any of the meditation and chanting events, you will know that chanting sacred sound also creates. It also is a manifestation tool. And here's the interesting thing. Now, there are mantras for different conditions. And what we do with these mantras is we use them as if they are vitamins. I'll give you that analogy. So you may say, I need more vitamin B. I need more vitamin C. I need more vitamin D. And so you use these mantras to kind of expand your system. What I mean by that is amplify all the good within your system. So a mantra is a creative tool. It is a healing tool. It is an incredibly transformational tool to help you manifest, just as the words that come out of your mouth are also tools for transformation and for manifestation. You might say, why do I have to chant a mantra when I could just visualize, or I could just speak my dreams into reality? Why extend it to this other thing called mantra chanting? And that is because the mantras have an incredible power to go beyond regular language. They are vibrational tools that we use that go beyond the vibration of just language. some of this cannot be explained adequately here. It must be experienced. This is not to say that you saying the word love has no effect, but you chanting a mantra that calls in love to your space, that alters your frequency so that you are more receptive to love, becomes a more powerful tool than simply repeating the word love. But for now, whether you believe this or not, let this episode simply be about the power of sound vibration, and specifically the sound vibration from your own being, from your own vocal cords. So it can be the repetition of an affirmation, the conscious repetition of a positive phrase that you do over and over again creates the circumstances in the energy field for you to then draw to you something different. In other words, you're using the power of language to create. Now, where it gets interesting is when you extend that to working with mantra, you start to release the mental body being even a part of this process. Now, what I mean by this is, let's say you're saying the phrase over and over, I now attract the perfect living situation. Or you say, I now attract true love. I now attract greater abundance. These words come from the English language, and they will have some effect, but your mind is still a bit involved, because I will bet that when you are saying those things, you are also thinking about this phrase. You're really thinking, okay, I'm now attracting true love. I'm now attracting true love. You are conjuring it up. You are starting to pull that true love to you. I'm now creating perfect health. I'm now creating perfect health. But your mind is also there evaluating the phrase. I'm getting really, really nitpicky about this. It's like I'm dissecting this idea of working with language and whatever language you speak, and working with sound vibrations, sacred sound vibrations. So there's this interesting observation about chanting, and it says that you cannot worry and chant at the same time. This is where the vibrational power of the mantra comes in. This is where the mind goes to rest. The mind is no longer involved. You are simply chanting and calling in to your space something greater, something more, whatever it is you would like. And your mind is not reasoning with yourself. Your mind actually relaxes. It doesn't go to sleep, but it stops its hold over you. So if you're working with affirmations and you've had some trouble working with them, I would venture to say it's because your mind is interfering. Your mind is not believing what you're saying. This is why also sometimes creative visualization becomes easier for people than affirmations. You end up choosing what works for you, but it's one reason. When you cut out pictures of your dream home, your mind moves immediately into feeling. It looks at that home, that beautiful home that you just cut out of that magazine, and says, oh, this is so beautiful. And there's no space for your mind to get involved and say, oh, well, you can't really create that. You're just like a child. But when you're stating something over and over again in the language that you speak, I'm now creating a beautiful home. I'm now creating a beautiful home, and you're describing it. You may not believe it. And so the mind starts to interfere with your process. But chanting a mantra bypasses that and kind of smooths over that possibility and just allows you to slip into pure vibration, pure, powerful, transformational vibration. And this is something, again, that is hard to describe, but easy to experience. The act of chanting falls under bhakti yoga, the path of devotion. It opens your heart and it shifts things without you having to do a lot of work. It just shifts things. It's like if you hear music and you say, oh, this music makes me feel good. It's the same thing with a mantra. You hear it and you say, I don't know what that means, but I feel good. And in that shift, there is the possibility for manifestation of what you desire and what you dream of. So start to think, if you like, about the language that comes from your mouth every day and being very, very particular about your words, what you're speaking into the world. Are you speaking negative thoughts? Are you speaking self-defeating thoughts? Are you speaking what may become self-fulfilling prophecies? Are you speaking words that are from some kind of conditioning from your past? Are you speaking words that come from an old pattern or an old way of being or an unhealthy way of being or an outdated version of who you now are? Where are those words coming from? And can you alter those words so that you can alter what comes into your life, what you're creating at this stage? Just like we would alter our homes in feng shui to draw in blessings, we can alter our words to pull in blessings. And one of the ways we do that in an amplified version is through the chanting of mantras. The chanting shifts your field immediately. We do that through Reiki also, not through sound vibration. With Reiki, we're passing energy into the self or others, and we are altering the energy field. So these are very feminine kinds of patterns in some sense. This bhakti yoga is a feminine path. It's the path of devotion, of opening the heart, of expanding the heart. And chanting is an element of bhakti yoga. Reiki would be seen as a similar, giving healing would be seen as an element of bhakti yoga also. So can you start having a greater awareness of your own language catching yourself when you are going to say, or you might be about to say something that you would consider negative or not very supportive of yourself or of others. We know that when we gossip or we speak poorly of others, it isn't really right. It doesn't feel good. So why not instead, there's that saying, if you have, what is it? If you don't have anything good to say, then don't say anything at all. And so becoming really aware of your language, both positive and negative, and starting to own the power of your own words. What are you speaking into the universe? What are you now creating through words? I've told you before, I think, or I tell people in classes that one of the greatest manifestation techniques I've worked with is speaking my dreams into reality. You can be driving along. This is what it looks like. You're driving along and you want to create some things in your life. And so you just start speaking about them. I'm now creating this beautiful, let's just say, new home. And this is what it looks like. And this is the kind of area it's going to be in. And along with that, I'm pulling into my space this soulmate I've been wanting to invite for a long time. I don't know where he or she comes from, but all of a sudden I meet them. I meet this person. Out of the blue, it seems like I meet this person, and instantly I know there's a recognition, there's a familiarity, there's a compatibility, there's a love, there's a connection, and I'm so happy for this. I'm so happy for this happening. And then something magical happens to me in the same week. So you just start speaking everything you desire into the world. Start speaking it. I tell people the universe is listening. It responds to vibration. You're creating a different vibration at every moment if you like. Or you can stay stuck in the same kind of vibration. But probably that's not really true because every day we're shifting a little bit. But you can create some dramatic shifts by speaking your dreams into reality. You find yourself alone in the car, you're just driving along and you're speaking about your dreams and they're now happening and this is so incredible and blah, 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 blah. So let the blah, 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 blah be something positive and brilliant and magnificent, and let you allow yourself to use your vocal cords to pull to you what you need and desire. Now, we do it through mantra also. And as I said, when we do it through mantra, it is just pure vibration, pure energy, pure light, pure magic. So can you start valuing the extreme power that you carry through your voice? You were given a voice to use it for good. We use it every day for some degree of nonsense too. Like when we gossip about someone or we say self-deprecating things to ourselves. Why not use your voice to call forth a new reality? And so this episode is about understanding the power of the Word. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. Now, how I see that is that's an interpretation that word, the spoken word, it's one interpretation because this phrase is quite intricate, and the word has been also translated as Jesus Christ. It's also been translated as source energy. But let's just take it at face value as the English translation. We've now translated the word logos into the word. So if the word was God, that can mean, if we're looking at manifestation, that sound vibration is God. Sound is creation. Sound creates. Your words help you bring forth your visions. It is said again that thoughts create reality, but then we bring those thoughts to life through our words. So we are taught to value our bodies, our minds, our spirits. What about your voice? Your voice is either speaking loving phrases into the world, intelligent phrases into the world, negative phrases into the world, or your voice is silent. Sometimes it is silent on purpose, deliberately, and appropriately, and sometimes it has been silenced. So, when you speak, let us make the decision and the promise that your authentic voice, your beautiful and unique and brilliant voice will come through. It actually has to come through. It has to, at some point, emerge. It will come through in circumstances where it has to, where it's very meaningful. You'll know this is a very important thing that I have to speak about. I'll give you an example. A eulogy. When you are asked to do a eulogy, you know these words are very important because these words serve not only as a tribute to the person who has passed on, but they also serve as, I'm trying to think of the right word, they serve as a blessing to that person. It's as if you are, well, it is, not as if, you are honoring the person, and through your words, you are blessing that individual. You are maybe saying things that you never said before. And you are blessing that individual for the next part of his or her journey. So many times in relationships, in families, we do not speak what we feel. We take for granted the other people in our lives, and we take for granted the idea that, oh, they must know how I feel. I remember at some point I felt it was very important, like I was being pushed to express thanks to my Reiki master, who was also a spiritual mentor of mine. And shortly after that, she passed away. And I felt very happy that I had expressed those words to her. So with Guruji in India, I always thanked him afterwards, of course, because you would come finish the class or the session or the lecture, whatever he was doing, and the teaching, and you would come up and There's a beautiful process where you bow and to the teacher, and it's an act of humility, and you seek their blessings, his or her blessings, and he just blesses you and maybe touches your head and then gives you a piece of fruit or a flower. It's considered a blessed offering. And I remember thinking, I have had such tremendous experiences learning from this teacher, and I have not adequately ever thanked him. And the words caught in my throat. Like I wanted to, and I never quite expressed it. I would always, of course, say thank you, and thank you, Guruji, thank you for this teaching. But to actually express to someone the impact they have made in your life, how often do you do that? So in this moment, if there is someone whom you feel, with whom you feel unexpressed communication, I would urge you to listen to that inner voice and express. If not now, then when? Now, after someone passes on, of course, there are other ways of communicating, and you can thank them, and you can write to them, and you can say it out loud, and you can do a ceremony. But there's nothing like saying what you feel in the moment to the person you would like to communicate with. So this is something I find very important the older I get, and maybe the wiser I get. And there's one other thing I want to leave you with, because all of the mantras that I teach in Vedic healing, the techniques that I teach, do activate different things in your body and in your being. And one of the mantras gives you mastery over your thoughts, your words, your actions. I think I said this in another episode. So everything you think becomes pure. Imagine, I'm going to say, imagine. This is the promise of that mantra, that everything you think becomes pure. Everything you say becomes pure. Everything you do becomes pure. And what does that mean? Becomes pure, becomes an offering to the divine, becomes loving, becomes sweet, becomes gentle. And I think that perhaps there's nothing greater we could ask for. So the chanting of this mantra helps us attain that. The purity of speech, of thought, of action. And what an incredible promise that is. So we can chant and chant and chant certain mantras that will change our energy field. And then how is that demonstrated in the world? You will know that the mantras are helping you. Just like when you do yoga asanas, you will say, I feel different. My body feels different. You'll do meditation and you'll say, I feel different. My mind is more at ease. I'm not having the stress that I used to. I have more focus. I'm not letting worry take hold of me. When you work with Reiki, the same thing happens. You start to feel more peaceful, more serene, more tranquil, more loving, more intuitive. So today's soft challenge, because it seems like I'm doing these episodes, and always offering a soft challenge. I don't know where that came from, but here we go. The soft challenge is to start becoming aware of your words. Become aware of where your words may harm someone. Become aware of where you should not speak and where you should speak. Where you should speak up for yourself, where it's important to speak your truth. You'll know it. You'll know that you're speaking your truth because it will feel perfect. It will feel just completely in alignment with who you are. And just become aware. We are in the habit of letting words just roll out of our mouths, talking incessantly, and sometimes speaking just unconsciously, not thinking about how our words may land in the world, how our words may affect the energy field of the atmosphere and of the person maybe we're speaking to. So when you go into a sacred space like a temple or a church, all the words that have been offered in those spaces have blessed that energy field of the space. And that is why you feel the serenity. That the words have created an energy in the atmosphere that you are now able to absorb. We go to a sacred spot for that added power, that Shakti, that beautiful Shanti, peace. Shakti, power. Shanti, peace. We're going for all of these positive qualities. So can you create those positive qualities in the world through your speech? And you will, because of the spiritual practice that you are doing, because of your awareness and your attention to the role you have to play on this planet, becoming more and more aware, lighter, more loving, more peaceful, more powerful, more intentional. Can every word you use contribute to the good? Again, none of these spiritual principles are about lying down and allowing people to take advantage of you. So sometimes the word that needs to be spoken may feel strong to someone else, but as long as it is in alignment with right action, you are good, my friend. You are doing the perfect thing in that moment. I hope this was helpful. I hope this was interesting. And remember today to value your voice, your words, your beautiful self-expression that comes from your vocal cords. And I will end with a mantra. Shantakaram Bhujagasayanam Padmanabham Suresham Vishvadaram Gaganasatrasham Megavaranam Shubhangam Lakshmi Shayam Kamalanayanam yogipiratyanagamyam Vande Vishnum Bhavabhayaharam Sarvalokaika Natam If you would like to connect, feel free to DM me on Instagram, email me, join a meditation and sacred sound gathering in Los Angeles, or simply reach out if you would like any support on your spiritual path. I'm happy to assist. Or, of course, if you are ready to learn Reiki and become an energy healer, please also feel free to reach out. Om Masato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sai Ram Jai Guruji Om Amriteshwari Namaha Hare Krishna Om Namah Shivaya